Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Marketing Wizards Inner Circle live interview show. My friends, I have such an incredibly special guest. I'm holding her back right now. She's in the wings. She's waiting virtual backstage here to jump out and absolutely thrill and chill you with her incredible sales confidence formula. You guys, with me today is an absolute sales genius. This woman is from Australia. She actually, if she'll tell you this as well, she has sort of this real combination of British and Australian accent that you're going to absolutely love. It's a real combo. You're going to love it. And she has well over 30 years of face-to-face, like in the trenches sales experience with a huge amount of success, won 3 separate awards. This woman is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to sales. We are very lucky to have her on the show. And without further ado, everybody, please give a warm welcome to the wonderful and amazing Miss Katherine Minett. Welcome to the show, Katherine.
Thank you. Thank you. What a great introduction, Michael. I'm really excited to be here today and hopefully I'm going to be able to give some of your listeners some real gems today, some golden nuggets that they can take.
Nuggets, yeah, you betcha. You know what? When we first started talking a few weeks ago, Katherine, it was almost a month ago now, it was like, oh my gosh, you resonate so profoundly with the same type of message that I always give people. And we really had a harmony here and I couldn't wait to get you on the show. And then we got interrupted. The laws of the universe came in and they're like, scrub that. It's not happening.
Absolutely. Like I just say, a beep, happens, the proverbial hits the fan. And sometimes all your good plans just go out the window. Yep. And the key thing here is being flexible, which we both were, and also being prepared. Being prepared for what to do next, rescheduling. And I think this is a really important first lesson for your listeners today is how important knowing that things can go wrong, you can get derailed, but as long as you are flexible and you've prepared. You've planned and you're prepared. So always have a backup plan because when you're in sales, there will be times where things won't go to plan. And you might be in a conversation with someone literally, and it just does not go the way you expected. And you need to be ready for that.
That is absolutely true. I love that because, and you know what's funny is that I actually say to people all the time because I've heard this thing, and you might have heard it too, Katherine, with you never have a plan B because then plan A won't work out. And I'm like, no. You never have a goal B, right? You have a primary goal, and that's what you're heading towards. But the plan to get there, oh my gosh, it's going to run into challenges, interruptions, hurdles, detours, whatever you want to call them. But this is the fact of the matter is you and I wanted to get on this. We wanted to do this interview. We wanted to give people phenomenal sales techniques and go through the process of how it came to be that you're such a brilliant salesperson. And we had to adapt, right? The world's going to throw us those curveballs, right? So the goal remained the same. The plan just had to change. So I love that you just said that because, you got to have a plan B. You got to have a plan C. You got to have a plan D as to how you're going to get to where you want to go. Absolutely.
And the word resilience came up just then for me. It's important. You need resilience in sales. You need resilience in life, and you get resilience. The more times you're knocked down, the more times that you fail. And I say fail in inverted commas because there's no such thing as failure. You only fail if you quit. But if you're still, focused on your goal and you're working towards it, even though things don't go to plan, you don't fail as long as you get back up, you dust yourself off and you keep going. Yep. And by doing that, you become resilient. And that is a key characteristic of successful salespeople.
Yep. I absolutely love that because in the end, sales is not a race.
No.
Right? Sales is not a race. Sales is service, right? It is the, I always love to frame it as it is helping someone else make a decision.
Yes. Right? And to add to that, sales is service, helping people make a decision, but also it's about solving problems for people.
Yeah.
Everybody has a problem of some sort. You either need a plumber, you need a hairdresser, you need a coach, you need sales, and that's a problem for some people. So then this is where somebody else has a solution, whether it's a service or a product that can help fix that problem. And that is what a whole, when the two people get together and they resolve that problem with the solution, there a sale has taken place.
That I love it. Beautiful. Okay, so now before we dive in, Katherine, into the sort of nitty gritty and nuts and bolts of this sales confidence formula, right, which is this really unique to you formula that you've crafted,
Mhm.
give us a little bit of an idea as to what the sales confidence formula solves for our audience. What does it actually solve?
It solves the problem for salespeople, professional salespeople who sell face to face, and also business owners who need to get out and sell their products face to face, and
Mm-hmm.
they're lacking in confidence. So they
Mm,
haven't got the confidence, and that's usually because they haven't got the skills. They haven't been trained in how to
okay.
sell. Because let's face it, who gets trained in how to sell? Generally, it's mainly just salespeople. If they're lucky to get a job where they teach them how to sell, and for many companies, they don't do that.
Right.
So really, getting the skills of sales, you need to go out. Often, you need to go out and get those skills yourself. So
And just like hard won working through the trial and error of it, right?
yes, so you get the skills, then you have to take action and do it. So you got to get the skills, which give you, and the taking action gives you the confidence,
Okay.
and then the experience means that you will get better and better at it. So it
Okay.
takes time. You can't just read a book or watch a YouTube video or a podcast show and think that right, I'm a great salesperson now. It can take
Hmm.
years to perfect the skill. And it's an art and a skill, and it does take time. But certainly, there's a few things that you can implement immediately that can start to shift you into that next level. And hopefully,
Okay.
by the end of our conversation today, Michael, your listeners will get some of those gems that they'll be able to use straight away to start them on that
Absolutely.
journey to successful selling.
Absolutely.
So, sales confidence is one area. Then that's the first part of the sales confidence formula. It's all about the mindset, the sales confidence mindset. And I can
Okay.
talk more about that later. Then, once you've got the mindset, it means that you can then start taking action. So, what are the actions? So, it's all that strategic stuff. It's the planning and the preparation that we talked about. You have to be prepared for when things go wrong,
Yep.
being prepared to answer questions, handle objections. And in fact, I've got a great, really valuable gift for your listeners. Late at the end, I'll give them access to my valuable guide. It's that they can download today,
Okay.
and
Nice.
it's all about being able to handle those sales objections, the common sales objections, and I give them a 6-step process that they can use.
Okay.
And that straight away, that will shift that needle for them in terms of their sales skills. So
I love it.
after the planning, then planning, a lot of that includes like prospecting, because that's a big problem. Prospecting, handling objections, some of the key things that salespeople who are new to sales struggle with.
Yep. Yep.
Then the third part of the sales confidence formula is all about the sales conversation. So, what do you say and how do you say it when you're actually in front of a prospect?
Okay. Nice.
So, that's
So
the area.
there's three kind of distinct stages to mastering this formula is what you're getting at, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a tool that you're going to give the audience, which is amazing. And is tools one of the magic keys when it comes to sales? Like having great things that you can rely on, that you can fall back to, that you know really, really work?
Yes. So I like to call them frameworks as well.
Okay.
So
Love it.
tools,
Yeah.
frameworks, techniques. And we're shifting away. I want to shift people away from the old school way of selling, because the
Okay.
old school way of selling has given salespeople a really bad reputation.
And what would that be? What would you suggest? What's a version of an old school selling?
The
What do you mean
old
by
school, it's where salespeople would then come up with techniques to manipulate. And
mm,
so trying to coerce and manipulate someone into a sale without when the person really doesn't want or need that product. And so
hmm,
people then feel that they're being sold to.
right.
Now, let's get this straight. People love to buy products. I mean, Michael, you like to buy products?
I have a few. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I like to buy products. I'm sure your listeners, I'm sure you guys out there listening today like to go shopping, especially,
Yep.
birthdays and Christmas and all that sort of stuff. We like to buy products, but none of us really like to be sold to.
And by being sold to, I think one of the important frameworks for people to remember is that that's not selling somebody something that they wouldn't want or couldn't use, right, or really need. What I think Catherine's referring to, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's selling somebody something that they actually don't really want and they don't really need. and your objective as a salesperson is just simply to collect the dollars, right? Like your objective is to get them to exchange dollars for something, whether they need it, want it, could really use it or not is irrelevant to the salesperson. That's when there's a disharmony there. Am I right?
Yeah, yes, and you come across as salesy and pushy
Yeah.
and and icky, and there's all sorts of negative words I can use to describe that type of salesperson. And because their whole focus, that person who's trying to sell and push a product onto you, their whole energy is all about me, 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 and I want to.
Yeah.
It's my objective of I want to sell.
Yeah.
And so the energy comes across, and people feel the energy. You know, when you get that feeling, that icky feeling, and also
Well,
someone
it's
interrupts
like
you
when I
at
go,
dinner time, sell
there's
to
a
you.
couple of local car dealerships here, Catherine, that if I go in and sometimes I just don't mind getting to a car lot and just checking out the new stuff, right? And
Yeah,
they'll want to sit me down. They'll go, so what is it going to take for us to get you into a new car today? And my answer
yeah,
is nothing.
yeah.
Nothing you can do, right? But they keep pushing this. How can we get you into a new car today? And they don't realize, look, I am just simply here to check out what the new stock looks and feels like. And I'm okay
Yes.
with that, but they're certainly not okay with it. You know what I
You're
mean? Like
looking,
really
you're
pushing.
looking, Michael, and you're doing your research,
Yeah,
and you're just
exactly.
testing the waters. You're not ready to buy.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, this is another important thing to remember. Only 3% of people are ready to buy
Mm,
when they're in front of you. The rest of them are like what you were then in the car showroom. You're doing your research. You're just having a play. I did the same thing when I bought a Lexus. It was a second-hand Lexus but before I went to all the Lexus showrooms, and
okay.
I test drove. I sat in there. I had photographs with me, for my
Nice.
vision board. I ended up
Yeah.
getting it. It took me about 5 years, but I did get it in the end. But I was in the and yes, so they some people were trying to sell to me, and it was no, I'm just looking, just looking. So you've got to remember that you've still got to nurture those people that are just looking. They're not ready to buy, but if you nurture them, if you don't push, you just handle their questions. You
Mm-hmm.
share, you educate them in a non-salesy way, which is what I
Yep.
teach. Then they're not going to feel pressured. You continue that relationship with them so that when they are ready to buy, where do you go to buy your car? You go
Yeah.
to that showroom where the guy or girl was not
It's
pushy,
really good.
where they
Yeah.
were helpful.
I've got a great story about that, Catherine. The car that I'm in right now, so I'm driving an Audi, and it was really funny because I had driven Volkswagens for a decade before. And so just to frame your point here, a guy called me up because I'd bought a Volkswagen years before, and he calls me up and does the typical thing. He's like, "Hey, your Volkswagen's 4 years in or whatever it is to your purchase. Are you ready for a new one? What can I do to get you into your dream Volkswagen?" And I laughed and I was like, "Well, that's an oxymoronic statement to me." I'm like, "Don't get me wrong, I really like Volkswagens, but they're not my dream car." And he's like, "Oh, okay. What would be your dream car?" And I told him, "Well,
Yeah.
I would buy an Audi." And I told him what my price point would be. So if you ever come across that, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And we hung up the phone. 6 months later, I get a phone call from this guy. Not only did he find me the car I was looking for, but he found it at below the price point that I wanted to buy it at.
Perfect.
Right? So
That
he didn't try and
is a
push
good,
me.
good sign of a good
Just
salesperson.
listen. That's right. And he went on to actually other stuff beyond that car dealership. But it's a great example of a salesperson going, okay, I've identified the problem that needs to be solved here in order to make the sale.
Yep.
I'm not solving this problem today. I don't have that solution, but I can be patient and know that I've got, 812 more phone numbers to call that I can get to. And so, Catherine, do you think that's one of the problems salespeople have is they just don't have enough prospects, so they get pushy and desperate?
Yes, that's one of many problems. Yeah, not having enough prospects. As I said earlier, prospecting is one of those critical
Yeah.
areas in that strategic. It's the second part that I talk about in my sales confidence formulas, all the strategic stuff. And prospecting, I mean, the goal setting, the planning, the preparation, prospecting is something
Yeah.
that a lot of salespeople avoid. Now, why do they
Well, they hate
avoid
it.
it?
They hate it. Yeah.
They hate it. Why do they hate it?
Yeah.
They hate it because of the fear it brings up about
That
prospecting.
pit in the stomach, that like, oh God, I don't know.
Oh,
Like the
I don't want
thought,
to pick up the
oh,
phone. They
Yes.
feel sick. They get nervous. They
So
don't
how
know
did
what
you
to
get past
say.
this then, Catherine? How did you get past this? Because, as you said, they all feel it. So how did you get past it?
Yeah. Well, I think the first part is part of the sales confidence formula is that mindset. So it's
Mm,
understanding, and I like to talk. The first thing I like to do is, now get ready, write this down, listeners. This is going to be critical. You need to reframe what your whole idea is about what selling is. So we've talked about it today a little bit. It's not about being pushy, and it's not about your objective. It's about educating and providing service, providing value, like that guy did for you in the car. He provided value, and it's about uh, yeah, being of service to the prospect and helping them. And if your whole energy and focus is around that, for starters, and remember that selling is that being of service. So mindset shift. We want to
mm,
reframe from what we think selling is to what selling really is. And when you
okay.
get that in your head and you realize and you go out to prospect knowing I'm going to help someone today. I'm going to be of service today. I'm going to solve problems today. I'm going to be a great communicator today. I'm going to make a difference in someone's life today. Now you have that mindset in the morning and you
Yeah.
carry that through for the whole day while you're picking up the phone, while you're knocking on doors, while you're following up, while you're prospecting. That change will change your whole demeanor of how
Mm,
you enter into that whole act of prospecting.
love it.
One thing that you can do. It's very powerful.
Yeah. Okay. So now this isn't something that you just were great at to begin with, right? These are, I mean,
Nope.
you were telling me that Catherine started her entrepreneurial career as a teenager, going door to door. From the sounds of it, when
Yes.
she was done, what were you selling, by the way? What were you selling door to door?
Daughter, when I was about 7 or 8, back
Seven.
in Liverpool, which is where I'm from originally, in
Yeah.
Liverpool, me and my twin sister. So I've got a twin sister, and my dad went to the markets and bought a box of apples and oranges. And then
Okay.
my older sister, she bagged them all up. They weighed them and bagged them all up. And we piled them, all these bags of apples and oranges, into a toy pram, like a doll's pram that we had. And it
Nice.
was my job, my twins' job, to go out knocking on doors. Now, talk about getting sent out into the field with no
Yeah.
sales training.
And my son just turned 6 yesterday. I can't even imagine sending him out door to door. Wow.
He can do it. He can do it. He might need a little bit of encouragement.
Okay.
So what happened is we went door to door, and we didn't have a choice because when Dad says off you go, you just go and do it. And so no script, no nothing, just go and
Yep.
sell. So we literally, but remember, I was 7, like cute, 2 little 7-year-old twins with curly red hair. And
Yep.
so we knocked on the door, and our opening line was, you can imagine, would you like to buy some apples and oranges? So, and you know what? We sold
Pretty
them all.
straightforward.
We
Wow. Okay.
sold them all. But we did have the advantage of being cute, I suppose. And
Mm.
then we go back, fill the pram up again, and off we go. That was the first time I ever sold. And then
Hmm.
later on, when I was a teenager, 16, I needed some extra money. So I went door knocking, washing cars.
Okay. Nice. Yep.
Yeah, and I got hit with a few no's there, and that was a bit disheartening, getting those
Yep.
no's. So I learned that, don't take no as a personal attack on me.
Yeah.
This is where you build up your resilience.
Yep.
You just say thank you. They're not interested. They're not the 3%. That's fine. You can leave some valuable information, get them on your database maybe, but you just and nurture them for when they are ready.
Yep.
And so
Love it.
then you move on to the next one, and that's what I did. I just kept moving on door to door until I had enough clients to
I love
be
it.
able to have car washing business.
And the perfect, right? So and then made money that way. So then, and because after that you got into the corporate world, right? You were saying you got into the corporate world and you're doing corporate sales, and a lot of what you learned there, you've kind of polished and dusted off to make it for oriented towards small business owners, and
Yeah.
then sort of formed it into the self confidence formula. So, or the sales confidence formula, I should say. So then, where were you working corporately? How did that come about?
Oh, well, when I left Liverpool, I went to Leicester in the Midlands of England, the middle of England, and I went to university there and I did a business degree with marketing. So,
Okay.
because I always wanted to be a businesswoman. That was you sit at the dining room table and, you get asked as a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I
Yeah.
used to say, I want to be a businesswoman and I want to own a chain of shops. So I was probably about, again, 8, 9, something like that. Actually, no, I
Wow.
was older. I was in another house then. So I must have been 10 or older. And so that was always something I wanted to do. So I went to uni and I studied business. But here's the thing, Michael. Business degrees do not teach you how to sell. There was
They
no
don't.
sales
Isn't
training.
that crazy? Like no sales and like the marketing stuff is so like 30,000 foot view. You have massive budgets, kind of marketing concepts. None of it is
Yeah.
like what do you do when you're opening up your own shoe store or something like that,
Not
right?
relevant. Well, I mean,
No.
bear in mind, this is like 30 odd years ago, 30 odd years ago
Yeah.
that I was studying. So maybe the degrees have changed a little bit now, but I doubt it. I
Mhm.
think, I mean, there may even be entrepreneurial courses that you can do at uni. But when I came out, I did not know how to sell. But
Okay.
here's the thing. So I thought I wanted to get into marketing, but I went to a few interviews and I was hopeless at that as well, trying to get into the marketing job because I had no experience in marketing. So
Okay.
it's always like catch 22, you know, I've got a qualification, but got no experience. And
Sure.
until they give you a job, you don't get the experience. So anyway, what I really wanted more than anything was to have a car. And
Okay.
so a friend of mine was a sales rep in the pharmaceutical industry, and he
Okay.
said, "Well, Catherine, if you want to get into sales, you want to get into marketing, get into sales first. They'll give you a car." I went, "Perfect, problem solved." So problem
Isn't it
solved. Go
hilarious
get
how just like the simplest motivations are the things that get us to this place?
changed my life. Changed
Yeah,
my
I
life.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you went and you
I
got
got
the
a job in
car
sales.
slash the job. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a job in sales, and of course, it was a medium-sized company, but they did not train me how to sell, and this is also a problem for people wanting to get a sales career, for example,
Hmm.
and they want to go and get into hoping that the company will train them in sales. Now, some of
Yeah.
the bigger companies might do that, but really, the onus is on you to go and learn sales yourself first. One, you've got a better chance of getting the job when you've got some experience or training and knowledge. And if you haven't
Okay.
had the job yet, then you
Yeah.
just got to rely on the knowledge, the certification that you've got, your training. And
Good point.
so I got my first job in sales, and I was absolutely hopeless at it. A lot of companies like this one taught me how to sell, how to talk about the product.
Yeah.
So I knew about the product, but that's all I knew really. And it was cold calling, it was picking up the phone.
Hmm.
So, needless to say, I was terrible at it. I hated it. I remember thinking, if this is what sales is, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm out over it. So, I quit
Hmm.
that job before I got fired
Okay.
and I turned my back on it.
And
Yeah.
this was like your first sales thing going, I'm not doing this.
Yes.
And
And
yet,
then then I emigrated to Australia.
okay.
And of course, the only thing on my CV really was this sales job. So I thought, well, I'll give it another shot. So I got another sales job. And it was easy to get this job because I had a bit of experience now.
Hmm.
But again, it was even smaller company and a family owned business. And they just expected me to know how to sell. And I didn't. So I was fumbling around. And I decided then, I thought, look, if I'm going to do this as a career, I need to get training. I need to learn how to sell. And that's when I made the decision to learn
Hmm.
the skills of selling. And it is the skills you need to learn. You can't just wing it. You're not born, like you said, I wasn't born a salesperson.
Right.
So I went out and I got books and I went attended sales seminars and I got the training. And with the training, what I was learning, I was then implementing. So I
Hmm.
learned it, I implemented, I trialed
And that would be
things.
great because then it would get enforced, right? Like it would get you learn something, you immediately implement, and then you get this immediate sort of gratification is the wrong word, but this absolute concrete element of going, look, I tried this technique and it worked.
Yes.
I did this and it worked.
And
Or
one of
did
the
this
things
take this
one of the
work?
things I did in that job, which is what you talked about with the car salesperson, because when you told that story, I thought that's what I did. So I
Hmm.
knew nobody in Australia, and so my job was selling to nursing homes, and I had
Okay.
a catalogue of products that I could sell. It was like a distributor, and so I went out. And I would visit the nursing homes, and they'd ask me for certain products, and I'd look in the folder and I go, "I haven't got that." But what I did is said, well, I'll find out who does and I'll let you know. So I did the same thing that your car
Hmm.
salesperson did. I would then get on the phone and find out who had the product, how much it was. And then I would phone the prospect back and I'd say, yeah, I don't have it. However, this company does. Here's the phone number. It costs this much. They've got some in stock. And if you call this number, ask for Steve,
Wow.
ask for Michael, he'll be able to
Wow.
help you. And I did that all the time. So what happened is I became this valuable uh, service provider that people knew that they could call me and I would be able to solve their problem. Now,
Cool.
sometimes they'd phone me and I had the solution to their problem.
Sure.
And I would then go, well, I've actually got that. Well, what would happen then? They would buy from me
I love
because I
that.
built the
Yeah.
relationship. I built trust and credibility. I was being authentically me. I just went out and I was me. And I provided a valuable service to them.
Hmm.
So that's how I got myself established in that role. But I left that role. They actually got taken over and things were changing. And that's when I moved into pharmaceutical sales. And the good
Okay.
thing about that then for me is then I got given the training, a real formal training. And then I started to have coaches. My manager would be my coach. And so, and we did role plays and
Yep.
lots of training. And so my skill level just kept going up and up and up. And after
Mm.
30 years, I've got more than 10,000 hours now. So selling is something that people would look and say, oh, it just comes naturally to you. And I say, well, yeah, after 10,000 hours or more, yeah, anything will
Anything
come
comes
naturally to
naturally.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The handstands that I do all the time, now they're natural after 10,000 hours of handstands. Right?
And if you don't keep doing them, I used to be able to do handstands and backflips and flip
Yeah.
flats and all sorts of cartwheels. I can't do it now because I've stopped. Use it or lose it.
Yeah, that's right. They're a muscle. Okay, I love it. So now let's come back full circle here for a minute here, Katherine, and talk about the sales confidence formula.
Yes.
And that it solves this never feeling sort of salesy and smarmy kind of elements. So you said there's three aspects really to it, right? You said there's the prospecting aspect to it.
Yeah, well, the
right?
sales mindset first.
Okay, sales mindset first. Got it.
That's overcoming the fears, gaining your confidence, and the mental shifting, reframing.
Okay. So what's next then?
Then the strategic stuff, what you do. These are the things you do before you even get in front of your prospect. Your goal setting, your planning, your preparations, where this handling cheat sheet that I've as a gift that I'm giving your listeners today. This is where you prepare before you actually get in front of someone. And so you can use that to help you with the handling objections. And then the prospecting. And so it's setting yourself up so that when you get in front of your prospect, then you're ready to do the third part, which is all about the conversation. It's about knowing what to say and how to say it when you're actually in front of someone. So that's the sales conversation process. And there's a lot of different elements in that as well.
Yeah, nuance within there.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. And if somebody wants to connect with you further on this and find out more about how to access the sales confidence formula, how to learn from you, where would they do that, Katherine?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I connect with a lot of sales professionals, people in real estate, people in sales and insurance or accountants, selling their businesses, their own products. They're small business owners. Facebook as well. I'm on Facebook. So Katherine Minett, sales coach and trainer, is LinkedIn. And if you go Minett Sales Academy, it's the name of my business that I set up. That is on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, download the PDF. Download my free gifts
I'll put
today.
that up there right now for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can join my Facebook group through there as well.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, right. You were in corporate
sales. Is in my
sales.
blood, right? Yeah, sales is in my blood. I mean, it's something I've been doing for years. So business, but I couldn't just leave the corporate world. Handcuffs that tied me to the corporate world, and so sort of shift me. School fees had finished. The mortgage was coming. If you don't do this, I'd already written a book. I'd write, mornings, evenings, weekends, formula online training program of the sales confidence formula. It's where the accountability comes in. I mean, if you don't have someone who's holding you accountable, it's very hard to keep yourself motivated. And having a coach or a mentor.
Enjoying this entrepreneurial journey now?
Hours now, but I enjoy what I do. I enjoy creating videos, content. So I've got like a video sales training program. So if anyone and gets my handling sales and create videos, it's me talking.
And so I'm just gonna run with right away, what would that single piece of advice be?
I think that if you're not confident with selling, one, you need to get the sales skills. You need to learn the skills. You have to learn the skills of selling. Winging it, I mean, you could wing it, but it would take time. But if you want to hit the ground running, you need to get the sales skills. You also mindset, right? I mean, that starts with there. You need to be able to believe that you can actually be successful in selling. Go get the sales skills, and then get someone to help coach you go through that journey to being successful, because there will be times when things don't go to plan. As we know, we started off with
Yes.
that conversation today. Things don't go to plan, and you'll get rejected. There'll be people who say, no, I'm not interested, and people do take it personally, and it's really good to be able to have someone to talk to and keep moving forward. It is the only way out there. But it also is very, very rewarding having a career in sales and being able to share your products with the world and knowing that you're making a difference. For me, it's that knowing inside that I am truly living my purpose. I'm helping people and making a difference. And for a lot of successful salespeople, that is what it is. It's not necessarily the money. It's that bigger purpose of why you're in sales, why you're in business in the first place.
Love it. I absolutely love that. And that is so absolutely true, Katherine, that in the end, we're going into business, we're entrepreneurial, we're creative, we're doing these things, but it all comes back down to the fact that we want to help somebody. Like
Yeah.
we're out not to just do the Monday to Friday 9 to 5 thing. There's a cross section of us that really want to go out and shift the world for other people, and nothing happens until somebody buys.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. So mastering the art of sales it's a linchpin skill, my friends. If you
Yeah.
want to succeed in the entrepreneurial world, it is a linchpin skill.
That'd be a good title for a book, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there you go. The linchpin skill. There we go. You hear it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Katherine, my final couple questions for you. So we are 1 year from today. It is December the 20th, 2024.
Yeah.
What's Katherine's life like? What has she accomplished in the last 12 months? What's one of the big things you've done?
Oh, wow. It has been an amazing year. I have been consistently, every week, I'm on podcasts. So I am getting my message out there. I am helping more and more people because more and more people have been attracted to me. And I'm able to now travel because I have an online business. It's all online. You can be anywhere in the world and I can help you with your sales skills because I am all online. I plan to travel as well so that I can actually be in different countries and meet some of the people that I'm actually working with online. So I would love to be able to go out to different countries. Maybe I'll come over to British Columbia and
Visit Canada
you
for a
and
while.
I can do an event or something and
There
we
we
can work
go.
together, put something on so people can come and meet us live. And I just see that as my business grows, I'm helping more and more people. And my skills as being a business owner, which is obviously new, I've only been doing it for 2 years, being this entrepreneur. So I will have improved my skills and my confidence in being a small business owner. And, I'll be doing lots of joint ventures with people like yourself, Michael. I'll be out there helping, and together we'll be able to help people be successful in their businesses, be successful in their careers and selling,
Yep.
and making a difference in the world and loving every minute of it.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So now we know Katherine's going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada in 12 months from now. We know where she's going to be. I love it.
Yeah, right. You got a spare bed?
Yeah, there we go. It's
Bring my
perfect.
husband off. We'll come. Might come in the wintertime. We can go skiing.
Exactly, right? You can go to Whistler. It's gorgeous.
Yes. Love it.
Okay, and then my last question to you, my dear, is can we get you back on the show?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to be back on your show, Michael.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
There's so
And
many topics that we could talk about. We could go
yeah,
down
okay.
so many rabbit holes.
So let's pick a rabbit hole. So next time you're on the show, which rabbit hole do you want to jump down? What do you think?
Well, why don't we ask your listeners to pop in the comments below and ask them
Okay.
what they would like to hear about in regards to the whole big topic of sales, and maybe the most popular one wins.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. What part of sales would you love to know more about?
And it doesn't matter if you're not watching live, if you're watching the replay, you're watching on YouTube, watching on wherever you're watching it, pop it in the comments because Michael will get notifications. And
I never read
Michael
them.
and I will get together next year and we'll come up with a plan and we'll do another training for you.
Perfect. Well, Katherine, this has been fantastic. I'm so happy that we got a chance to reschedule this. And Merry Christmas to you and all
Thank
of your
you.
loved ones. Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Any big, huge Christmas plans, or is it stay at home
Family.
kind of Christmas?
I've got my mother-in-law's here, and my brother-in-law's coming up, and we've got some friends coming over, and of course Australia. It's hot here, hot and
Yeah,
humid.
yeah.
So I hope that we will be eating prawns and sitting in the pool to cool off, and just eating and drinking a lot on Christmas Day. And then,
Love it. Love it.
January the 2nd,
Yeah.
the diet and exercise
Oh,
begins.
yeah. There we go. And then,
Yeah,
do you
New
have
Year's
anybody coming
resolution.
over from England at all to come visit? Any family from England?
No. Last year I had my sister who lives in America. Actually, my older sister lives in Boulder, in Colorado.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
do plan to go over there next year, possibly for Christmas, which is why
Very cool.
maybe we can do a little detour to
Oh, there you
Vancouver.
go. There you go.
But yeah, so just a small family Christmas this year, just with the in-laws.
Very
What
nice.
about yourself, Michael? Have you got plans for
Well, I have
Christmas?
two little kids, so Christmas is all about them, of course. So lots of stuff going on there, and yeah, it'll be pretty demure this year. My brick and mortar business and my marketing company's just been absolutely rocking it for the last few
Excellent.
months. So I've been operating with all four hands that I've got doing
Yeah.
things. So it's been really busy. So we'll dial it back for a good week or so recovery, and then back into a lot of good stuff starting in
And
January.
that's important. That's important, Michael. And I always say that to my students. It's
Mm,
important to schedule time off, to take breaks,
yep.
little mini breaks, to recharge. And what happens is you let your subconscious mind come up with your ideas, so that when you do have a
Fix some
break,
stuff,
you
right?
hit the ground running when you come
Mm,
back. If you just keep going without any breaks, you just burn yourself out. And you're no good to anybody.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think you get
good. Take the
overwhelmed.
break.
You get overwhelmed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, Catherine. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle. Massive thank you to Katherine Minett. She's just absolutely fantastic. Isn't she amazing? And we're going to get her back on the show. We're going to dive deeper into some other sales stuff. So we're going to keep delivering on some awesome material. And this is the final live show of the year. No. I've got one more left after this. So thanks again to Katherine. I have been Michael Bridgman. She was Katherine Minett. You have been awesome, my friends. This has been another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle. So go out there, everybody, enchant your audience, make some magic happen, and I will see you on the next show on Friday. Ciao for now.